All right, so today we're going to talk about systems of linear inequalities. So remember, we did linear inequalities before you went to break, and then we've done system of equations where the two lines overlap. Wherever they intersect is your answer, so they're just an ordered pair. All right, so a couple of things. Obviously, we always start with our vocabulary here. So the system of linear inequalities is going to be two or more. We will do two for y'all when y'all move on to higher math. Sometimes there's three, and in some of our examples and word problems that we're going to do later, there are three or four. But two or more linear inequalities that are graphed on the same graph together, okay? And then the solution to that is the fancy terminology. So the solution is the overlapping region of points that satisfies both inequalities. Basically, y'all, it's where the shading overlaps. So in other words, we've got two graphs here, two lines on a graph. One's going to be shaded one way, another's going to be shaded the other way. And somewhere on this graph, those two colors of shading are going to overlap, okay? So I'm going to do my best to use my color highlighters to show you this, but sometimes my colors don't do what I need them to do, or it's hard to see. It just depends. I'm trying to get rid of that line on my paper, but it's not going away. It's where my sun's coming in, but we'll just deal with it. Okay. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start. Remember, before we can graph, they have to be in slope-intercept form. So the first one, of course, we usually start that way. All right, so with the first one, I'm going to graph the first line in blue. All right, so y is greater than negative x minus 1. So I'm going to start at negative 1, and then I'm going to go down 1 and right 1. Okay. Up 1 and left 1, if you want to keep going. Now, the points themselves are not necessarily what we need this time. Okay, this is a dotted line. Okay, and I'll talk about shading here in a minute. Let me graph the second one. Okay, so the second line is going to start at negative 5. And we're going to go up 1 and right 1. Okay, this is another dotted line. All right, so both were dotted, and let's talk about shading. So this is greater than, so we're going to go above here. This is less than, so we're going to go below here. All right, so for the blue line, the above, that's going to be everything up here. Okay. And then for the pink line below is going to be everything down here. So if you notice, the two colors, my pink and my yellow, overlap in this little area right here. So you need to make sure that this area is the darkest shaded area of your graph. Okay. Now on your EOC, if it's multiple choice, then what's going to happen is the only part that will be shaded is the answer. So in other words, you wouldn't even see anything up here shaded or down here. You would only see the solution shaded. Okay. So that answer is any ordered pair that lies in that shaded region. Okay. All right. Number 2. Again, we're going to start up 7. Okay. And we're going to go up 1 and right 3, or down 1 and left 3. Okay. And that one is dotted. All right. And for the second one, we're going to go up 4 and down 1 and right 1. Okay. And that one is solid. Okay. So let's talk shading. All right. Again, this top one is less than, so it's below. And the bottom one is greater than or equal to, so it's above. All right. So top one. So that's the purple line. We're going below the purple line. So that's everything down here. Okay. All right. And then for the green one, it's above. So that's everything up here. So again, if you notice, these two colors overlap in this area right here. So that is where your answer is. Make sure it's darker than everything else. Okay. All right. So again, make sure they are in slope intercept form before you start to graph. Okay. So for number 3, it's not. The top one's not. The bottom one is, so we're good to go there. Okay. But the bottom one is, top one is not. So we're going to start by moving our x over. So that becomes negative 4y is less than or equal to negative x plus 24. Then we're going to divide by negative 4. So remember, warning, warning, you divide by a negative. So we do have to flip our sign. Okay. So now for that one, we're going to start at negative 6. And we're going to go up 1 and right 4. Okay. That is a solid line. Okay. And that one is greater than now, so we will shade on that one. We will shade above. Remember, you cannot tell me shading until you have y by itself. All right, the bottom line, we're going to start at plus 1, and we're going to go up 2 and right 1. Okay, that one is also solid. And it is also less than on that one, so we are going to shade below. Okay, so you will see the overlapping of the two is this area right in here. So do make sure that that part is colored darker on your paper. Okay. All right, number 4. So the first one in number 4 is one of our special lines. So remember, for that special line, that's an X is a stick man with 2 legs, so he stands tall. So we're going to go over to negative 4, and we're going to make a dotted tall line. Okay. Shade in a second. For the second one, we've got to get y by itself. So 2y is less than or equal to negative 3x minus 2. So start at negative 1, and we're going to go down 3 and right 2. Okay, and that one is solid. All right, so for the first line, for the x is less than or equal or less than negative 4, so less than, you can't go above or below a vertical line, so we go left or right. So less than is obviously left, so we're going to go this way. And then for the other one, it's going to be less than or equal to, so that's going to be below. And again, you will see these two overlap in this area right here. So make sure that is the darkest. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to go ahead and knock out 5 and 6 as far as rearranging the equations, and then we'll come back and graph both of those, because rearranging the equations is what takes us a little bit more time than actually graphing, okay? Make sure though, y'all, every time you divide by a negative, you have to flip that inequality sign. Okay, and this one's already good. Oops, no equal to there. Make sure you reduce your fractions for that one. And then the bottom one. So we did divide by a negative here, so I am going to have to flip my sign. Okay. All right. So that's just all of those are arranged in slope intercept form. So that makes it super easy for me to graph from there. All right. So number 5, let's do the top one first. So we're going to start at 7. Can't go up 4, so we're going to go down 4, and then we would have to go left 5. Okay, and you can't do that again. That is going to be a solid line. Okay, and that one is shaded. That one's less than, so it's below. Okay. And then for the other one, we're going to start at -2, and we're going to go down 1 and right 1. That one's a dotted line. And our shading for that one is greater than, so that's above here. Okay, so again, our answer is up here where they overlap. It's not very dark. There we go. All right, over here to number 6. Top line, it's going to start at +3, and we're going to go down 3 and right 2. We're going to make a dotted line through there. Okay, for the bottom line, we're going to start at -2, and we're going to go up 3 and right 4. And we're going to make a dotted line through there as well. Dotted and solid does not change no matter how you solve, but it does matter for your shading if you divide by that negative. All right, so the top line is greater than, so we're going to shade above. And then the bottom line is less than, so we're going to shade below. And again, our answer is over here in this corner right here. Okay. All right, so on the back side, oops, sorry. On the back side, we have several more of these. I'm not going to do them all because you should understand the gist of what's going on so far. Okay. All right, number 7, already in slope intercept form. Those are fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to go down 5 and right 1. Okay, and that is a dotted line. All right, and then down 1, up 2 and right 1. So, you know, these do intersect, but the intersection is not what we're worried about this time. Okay. So shading, this top line was the blue line. It was less than, so that's going to be this way. And then the green line is our bottom line. It's greater than, so that's going to be up this way. So again, you will see, and y'all, it should be pretty clear if you shade correctly where they do overlap. Okay. All right, for the top one on number 8, the only thing to do is divide by 8. Do make sure you reduce there, so that's -5 over 4x plus 3. So I'm going to start at 3, down 5, right 4. turn my paper real quick, y'all. That is a dotted line. Okay. And shading wise, it is greater than because we do not divide by a negative. So we're going to shade up top. Okay. All right, and the second one is the other special line that we have, the Y. Remember, Y is a stick man on one leg, so he falls down. So we're going to go up to 2 on the Y axis, and we're going to make a solid line, and that one's less than, so we're going to graph below there. So see, right here in this little corner is where our two colors are going to overlap. Okay. All right, so we're going to knock out number 9. All right, so both of these need to be solved. On number 9, they're neither in slope intercept form, so we're going to move the 3x first. So that gives me negative y is less than negative 3x plus 6. Divide by that negative 1, so you do flip your sign. So that's 3x minus 6. So I'm going to go down 6 and go up 3 and right 1. Okay, and that is a dotted line through there. All right, for the second one, again, we're going to move the 3x and divide by the negative 1. So flip your sign, and that is positive 3x plus 2. Okay, so you should have noticed, maybe you caught on to it initially, all right, and they're both dotted. Okay, that these lines are parallel. So for the pink one, okay, our shading is going to be above. So that's everything this way. All right, and then for our blue one, our shading was going to be below because it's less than. So that's everything this way. So they overlap here in the center between these two parallel lines. Now, we don't have one on our notes today that does what I'm about to talk about, but if this blue line had gone above and the yellow line had gone below, there would be no intersection. And remember, if there's no intersection for a system of equations or a system of inequalities, the answer would be no solution. Okay. All right, so I'm going to skip 10, 11, 12. We're going to jump down here to number, the word problem. We're going to get into this more in our next lesson. Okay, so this is just kind of an initial introduction into it. All right, so Sarah's pet store never has more than a combined total of 16 cats and dogs. Okay, so we're going to start. X is going to be our cats. Y is going to be our dogs. So if it says a combined total of 16, never has more than that. That means less than or equal to 16. So we know that X plus Y is going to be less than or equal to 16. Okay. Keep reading. She also never has more than 9 cats. She never has no more than 9 cats. Cats is X. So X has to be less than or equal to 9. So they want us to graph this. Okay, so if I rearrange this one, y'all, move that X over. It's just Y is less than or equal to negative X plus 16. So do we have 16? 1, 2, 3. Yes, we have 16 right here. Okay, and we're going to go down 1 and right 1. Okay, and that's going to continue, and that's a solid line. All right, and that is less than, so that means below. All this down here, okay? And then again, X is less than or equal to 9, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that is a solid vertical line because that's our stick man with 2 legs. He stands tall, okay? And that one's shading to the left because it's less than. We can't go up or down, okay? So all the possibilities that Sarah could have, Sarah, right? That Sarah could have in her store are anything that falls in this area right here. Okay. So in other words, she could have, if this is cats on the bottom, right? Because our X is cats. And this is dogs on the top. Okay, on the side. All right, so she could have like any order pair in here. So like 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 cats, 5 dogs. That matches her criteria. Okay, because it's less than 16 and less than 9. All right, but anything outside of that shaded area would not work. Okay, so we get into more of the word problems with that tomorrow. So tune back in, and I will get those done for you. Okay. All right. Have a good evening.